Lesson 15. Processes Part 2. Processes in Depth. Welcome to Lesson 15. In this lesson, we're going to use a combination of video and exercises to study 3 of the processes that support SIAM in more depth. We'll study project management, incident management, knowledge management. The SIAM Foundation syllabus requires in-depth study of any 3 processes in the SIAM process guides. You won't have any more exam questions on these processes. The purpose of this lesson is to help give you the tools to work on processes in your own organization. Let's start with project management. The purpose of project management is to provide a structured approach that delivers projects on time, on budget, and at the appropriate level of quality. There's a common project management expression that says, fast, cheap, or good. You can only have 2 out of the 3. The idea being that if you want it fast and cheap, it won't be good. If you want it fast and good, it won't be cheap. And if you want it cheap and good, it won't be fast. This is a funny expression with a serious message. Project management is about balancing the timescale, the budget, and the deliverables to meet the customer's desired outcome. Read the project management section of the process guides. How much of this is familiar to you? Many organizations are now choosing between waterfall project management and agile project management. Waterfall project management treats a project as linear and sequential, with tasks completed in order and little to no deviation from the original project scope. Each task flows down to the next like a waterfall. Agile project management has less upfront planning and design. Instead, it works in short iterations, which are used to get feedback and update requirements. It is more flexible than waterfall project management. Both project management methods have advantages and disadvantages. Neither one is better than the other. Which type does your organization use? You can see the project management activities here. Most projects start with a business case. A business case explains a proposed course of action, the benefits it will deliver, and its associated costs. This would be reviewed and approved before the project started. It would include the expected business value or business outcome that the project will deliver. Throughout a project, activities including status reporting, risk management, and quality management help to make sure everything is progressing as expected. For an agile project, each iteration needs a level of review and management. For a waterfall project, these activities follow the sequential project tasks. Let's think about project management with an exercise. Plan to spend 20 minutes on this exercise, and don't forget to check out our suggested solution. As part of the Discovery Project at Ceylon Ordinax, you've been asked to assess their project management capabilities and their impact on a SIAM transformation. Capabilities describe a level of skill or ability to do something. Assume that you already know Ceylon Ordinax has poor project management capabilities. Prepare a presentation for the company board explaining the possible impact on a SIAM transformation and what they could do to reduce any negative effects. Project management roles include project director, project manager, and the project management office, or PMO. The PMO defines and maintains standards across all projects in an organization. Within a SIAM environment, the service integrator or the customer organization's retained capabilities will often act as the PMO. Projects will usually include a customer representative, and if there are external suppliers involved, they might be included in project meetings as well. Within a SIAM environment, projects might span the SIAM layers and could potentially include representatives from the customer organization, the service integrator, and the relevant service providers. Each service provider in a SIAM ecosystem will normally have its own PMO and a preferred project management methodology. When there is a project that spans multiple organizations, the service integrator will need to make sure that it happens in a coordinated way. Typical project management metrics include delivery against quality requirements and delivery against plan. The service integrator will need to measure the performance of each individual service provider and also provide an end-to-end perspective for the customer organization. The next process we'll study is incident management. Its purpose is to record and manage service issues, known as incidents, that are interrupting the availability of a service. The process also manages events that are degrading or could degrade service performance. The process seeks to restore service. This is often with an agreed timescale, dictated by the priority of the incident, based on its impact and how quickly it needs to be resolved. Start by reading the Incident Management section of the process guides. Your organization will probably have some type of incident management process in place. You will also interact with incident management processes for many day-to-day services you use. For example, if your home internet connection is unavailable or you are unable to access your online banking. There is an incident management metric referred to as bounce count. Bounce count refers to the number of departments or organizations that an incident is referred to before it is accepted and the incident is resolved. For example, in an organization, the software team might refuse to accept an incident because it's a network issue. Networks refuse to accept it because they think it's a database issue, and so it goes on. In a SIAM ecosystem, the service integrator needs to manage bounce count carefully to ensure that service providers are not passing incidents between each other to try and protect their own performance statistics. The service integrator needs to build a culture where all service providers work together towards a resolution. This is often referred to as a fix first, argue later attitude. Within a SIAM ecosystem, the service integrator will monitor the way that incidents are managed to make sure that the customer's requirements are being met. They can try to proactively improve service availability by reducing bounce count so that incidents are resolved more quickly because they are assigned to the right service provider first time. Making sure all service providers contribute to frequently asked questions and knowledge articles to support better first-time fix at the service desk. Analyzing incident records and identifying service improvements that can reduce the number of incidents. This would happen during process forums. For our incident management exercise, we're going to ask you to use your experience and what you've learned about SIAM during the course so far to go into some detail about the roles and responsibilities related to incident management. Spend about 15 minutes on this exercise, and don't forget to check out our suggested solution. Think about the role of each of the SIAM layers in the incident management process. What will the customer organization do? What will the service integrator do? What will the service providers do? Remember to cover all activities, from reporting an incident through to resolution and review. You will also need to consider the process roles and structural elements you've studied. One area of incident management that is often defined and documented individually within a SIAM ecosystem is security incident management. Security incidents can have serious implications for the customer organization, so the service integrator might be required to define additional processes and procedures to make sure they are managed correctly. These processes and procedures will be developed with input from the customer, incident management, and security management staff. The final process that we'll study in detail is knowledge management, sometimes referred to as service knowledge management. The purpose of knowledge management is to capture knowledge and make it available in a controlled and quality-assured manner to all appropriate people. Knowledge management is often done badly in organizations without a SIAM model. Departments might not share information, and some staff hold on to what they know because they feel it makes them look indispensable. The same challenges will be present in a SIAM environment, but with the added complications of multiple commercial organizations being asked to work together. Start by reading the Knowledge Management section of the process guide. You can see the SIAM considerations for knowledge management on screen here. Think back to what we studied when we looked at the tooling strategy and a common data dictionary for a SIAM model. Many of these SIAM considerations relate to access to information, the right toolset, and the right levels of access for all SIAM stakeholders that can make knowledge management much more effective. Service providers in a SIAM ecosystem might be reluctant to share information to support knowledge management. The other service providers they are working with might be their competitors, so they perceive a risk in sharing their intellectual property. The service integrator needs to work hard to create a culture of collaboration to help the service providers put business outcomes above their own interests. We'll look at how to do this in more detail when we study SIAM challenges and risks later in the course. There's no one perfect way to organize roles and responsibilities within a SIAM ecosystem, but we'll study an example of how the knowledge management activities would be split across the SIAM layers. Starting with the customer organization, for knowledge management to be effective, they need to make sure that the service integrator has access to any information it needs to start building a knowledge repository. This might include information about business processes, key stakeholders, and a business timetable, showing key business events. The service integrator's role in knowledge management is to establish the process and measure its effectiveness. This could include documenting a knowledge management strategy, creating a knowledge repository, creating guidance about what should be added to the repository, when and by whom, creating knowledge management procedures, educating people about the knowledge repository, and measuring how often knowledge is being used. Finally, the service providers will also have a role to play in the end-to-end knowledge management process. They will contribute information to the knowledge repository and might also access it, for example, to get information to help them to resolve an incident. During the knowledge management process forums, the service provider knowledge management process owners will work with the service integrator process owner to improve the process. Is there an effective knowledge management process in your organization? That completes our more detailed study of 3 processes. If there are any processes in the process guides that you feel are particularly relevant for your organization, some internet research will quickly give you access to more information. Process improvements might not cost very much and might not take much time, but they can have dramatic results. The customer organization isn't always aware of the detailed process they are interacting with, but process improvements can also lead to increased customer satisfaction. Click on the Next button to access your end-of-lesson quiz when you're ready. When you finish the quiz, click the Next button again to move on. You finished Lesson 15, where we've studied project management, incident management, knowledge management. In the next lesson, we'll move on to the SIAM challenges and risks.